Call this the competition of sky water. The reality of it is I've come to the conclusion that there really isn't any. I do diligently search, and here's why. I regularly evaluate these water ionizers because what they did for my daughter Skylar. You can go and watch Dr. Michael Explains the Water Revives, and you'll get the full explanation. My loyalty to the SD501 lies in the simple fact that I've not found a better machine at this price point. I do continue to research them because my daughter's health actually does depend on it. It's not a gimmick. It's not a business. She requires it daily. And when she has it, she's perfectly normal. And when she doesn't, she has other health issues. It's a critical component of the health for my entire family and our active lifestyle. The SD501 was not the first ionizer I had purchased, used, or otherwise, nor was it the last one that I researched. I simply have not found one that is superior across the board on all facets to date. That said, there's a lot to sort through these days, so let me explain my own personal findings. This is not clinical research. This is as valid as anybody else's opinion, but it's the research behind what I have found. Just as a point of reference, Skylar was my daughter. She was born with gastroschisis. In 2009, she spent a year in the hospital. She came home after having 2 colostomies, a reversal of resection, to 100 hours a week of home health care with feeding tubes and feeding ports. She was literally born inside out. Everything that was supposed to be on the inside was the outside. Stomach, liver, pancreas, spleen, small intestine, large intestine, bladder, and right ovary. She went through a period where the biggest complication was known as acute dehydration syndrome. She spent a year at Scottish Rite. She came home after 2 colostomies and a resection of her bowel. When the dehydration would hit, this would be her mid-afternoon one day, and this was her that evening after she'd been revived at the hospital. Basically, the bowel would shut down, and so I became a hydration expert. I tried every pill, potion, water ionizer you can imagine, and we came through it when someone introduced us to the Enagic SD501. That is Skylar today, and at the time that we tried it, I was actually completely opposed to alkaline ionized water. When it worked, I was a little dumbfounded. So I had to figure out why. And here's what I found. What was the difference and why did the water work? Well, it's simple. The healthiest person and the sickest person can be broken down into 2 parts. Muscles, ligaments, bones, organs, and tissues, and they all add up to 28% of the person. The other 72% of everyone is just water. But not all water is equal. You have distilled water, reverse osmosis water, filtered water, alkaline water, ionized water, and then there's electrolyzed reduced water. If you want to go to Dr. Michael Explains the Water, I get into this in greater detail. But the short answer is electrolyzed reduced water is water that has been electrically disassociated, and that produces molecular hydrogen, active oxygen, and hydroxyl anions to work as free radical scavengers. And the water's been restructured for rapid absorption, and that basically maximizes nutrition and detoxification. If you see this over here, you take a water molecule, you break it apart, you get a hydroxyl anion, and there's the hydrogen molecule. The way that it is accomplished is it's basically a lightning strike. This water occurs in nature when lightning strikes an open body of water, lake, stream, ocean, whatever, and it blows everything apart because of the high ionization level. Well, what they do is they put some quality plates in there in a machine that's about the size of a coffee pot. If this is a clump of water molecules with low energy, they kind of stick together. It's like an electromagnetic thing. They don't disperse evenly. When you increase the ionization, the outer rim electrons kind of repel each other. And some of the bonds will break, and so you'll get, instead of have a big clump that the body can't use, it'll break it down into clusters of smaller, like 4 clusters of 6, 5 clusters of 5, 4 clusters of 4, 6 clusters of 4 with free electrons and whatnot. If you think about trying to get this cluster of grapes into this jug, even Skylar, when she was little, would take the grapes off the stem and dump them into the jug. If you can get everyone in there, you got good hydration. If you try to cram the whole thing in there, it's going to fall all over. They're going to break apart, hit the floor, all that stuff.